Let's be honest. Most men don't end up in toxic relationships because they're stupid. They end up there because they were hopeful. Because they saw the best in her and ignored the rest. But some women, no matter how beautiful, charming, or exciting they seem, should not be in your life. Not because they're evil. Not because they're broken. But because they'll break you. So today, we're talking about the 5 types of women you should never date. The ones who steal your peace, drain your confidence, make you question your worth, while calling it love. And no, this isn't about bitterness. This isn't about blaming women. This is about you protecting your emotional energy like your life depends on it. Because in many ways, it does. You want love? Great. You want connection, softness, trust, even intimacy? That starts with who you choose to open the door to. And if you keep choosing the wrong kind of woman, no amount of game, money, or looks will save you. Because here's the hard truth. The wrong woman in your life will cost you more than just heartbreak. She'll cost you your confidence, your clarity, and your future. So if you've ever asked, why does it always end the same way? Why do I attract these types? Why did she change once I gave her everything? Then this is for you. Let's break it all the way down. 5 types. 5 red flags. 1 goal. Never get trapped again. We start with the one most men fall for first, and regret the longest. Let's get into it. You've probably met her. The connection is electric. The banter? Instant. She's smart, sexy, says all the right things. And for a moment, it feels like maybe, just maybe, she's the one. But here's what you don't notice at first. Every time things get close, she pulls away. She never talks about her past. She deflects compliments. She jokes through emotional moments. And before long, you feel like you're chasing a ghost with a beautiful smile. This is the emotionally unavailable woman. And she's the most dangerous type, because she makes you feel like you're the problem. This woman isn't cold. In fact, she might be incredibly warm, at first. She'll talk about the universe, make you feel understood, laugh at your jokes, tell you she's never met anyone like you. But ask her how she feels? Silence. Ask her to define the relationship? I don't know. Let's not ruin what we have. Ask her to open up about what hurt her? She'll shrug and say, it's in the past. Here's the truth. She doesn't have the emotional bandwidth to connect. Because somewhere along the way, someone taught her that feelings equal pain. And so she built a wall. A beautiful, funny, seductive wall. What you're dealing with isn't immaturity. It's emotional trauma. It's conditioning. It's a woman who may have grown up around unpredictable love, been abandoned when she was vulnerable, betrayed in a moment of deep trust. So now, when things start to feel too real, her defense system kicks in. Because she learned it's safer to be distant than to risk being hurt. And here's where you get caught. You start thinking that if you're just patient enough, just loving enough, just consistent enough, she'll finally open up. But that's not love. That's emotional codependency disguised as hope. You become the emotional laborer in the relationship. You share your feelings. You plan thoughtful dates. You write long paragraphs. You make space for her moods, her silence, her withdrawal. And in return, you get breadcrumbs. Not because she's mean, but because she doesn't have it to give. And that's the hardest part. She'll never admit she's unavailable. She'll say things like, I'm just busy. I've been hurt before. I just need time. I'm scared to lose you. But notice, every answer keeps you waiting, and her protected. Slowly, you start to change. You go from secure to second-guessing. From patient to obsessed. From generous to resentful. Because you're stuck in a chase that never ends. You feel like she's 90% there, just almost ready. But the truth? That 10% gap will never close. Because she needs it to stay safe. She wants love, but fears intimacy. She wants connection, but avoids vulnerability. She wants to be adored, but not held. You are emotionally investing in a woman who is emotionally bankrupt. And eventually, you'll feel the debt. And here's what's wild. Even after you walk away, she might come back. Not because she's ready. Not because she's healed. But because she misses the feeling of being loved without doing the work. She'll say, "I didn't realize how much you meant to me. I think I messed up. Can we start again?" And suddenly, you're back on the hamster wheel. Same wall. Same distance. Same hope. Same heartbreak. So what do? 1. Spot her early. If she avoids deep questions, laughs off vulnerability, or uses "I'm just not emotional" as a personality trait, pay attention. 2. Stop trying to fix her. You're not her therapist. You're not her project. You're a partner, and you deserve mutual emotional safety. 3. Love her from a distance, if needed. Some women are beautiful souls, just not ready to be in healthy relationships. Remember, you don't have to be angry to walk away. You just have to be clear. Because the emotionally unavailable woman won't break your heart. She'll confuse it until you do it yourself. Have you ever dated a woman who seemed like she'd been hurt by everyone? The abusive ex. The toxic friends. The parents who never understood her. The co-workers who were always jealous. At first, you feel protective. She's been through so much. You want to be the man who shows her not all guys are the same. But soon, you realize something darker. You're not dating a woman. You're dating a story of suffering. And the longer you stay, the more you realize, she doesn't want to heal, she wants to be rescued. This is the chronic victim. And she will make you feel like the villain for not saving her. Here's what you need to know. The chronic victim isn't defined by what happened to her, but by how she tells the story. Everything in her life is someone else's fault. Every problem has an outside source. Every emotion becomes your responsibility. At first, she opens up to you. She's emotional, vulnerable, wounded. You feel chosen. But then, slowly, it turns. You forgot to text back on time? She feels abandoned. You said something too directly? Now you're just like her ex. You need space? She calls it emotional neglect. What starts as empathy becomes exhaustion. Because no matter how much you give, it's never enough. The chronic victim lives in a state of emotional dependency. She needs you, not to grow with her, but to constantly prove she matters. And the moment you stop, she spirals. You'll start to notice a constant emotional breakdowns over small issues. A passive-aggressive guilt trips. You never listen, even when you've spent hours being there. Her extreme emotional reactions, then silence, withdrawal, or blame. She uses emotional pain as currency. And your job? To keep paying. But here's the truth. She doesn't want a partner. She wants a lifeline. And if you're not careful, you'll start confusing guilt with love. Dating a chronic victim changes you. Your world shrinks. Your self-esteem takes hits. You stop speaking up, because it hurts her. You stop having needs, because hers are always more urgent. You start to feel like you're the cause of every emotional storm. And the worst part? She'll say, "You don't care. You're so selfish. And no one ever stays. I knew you'd leave like the rest." What she's really doing is weaponizing her pain. And the moment you start to believe it's your job to heal her, you're trapped. Men stay in these relationships out of compassion. But compassion without boundaries becomes self-sacrifice. And when you sacrifice your identity to manage someone else's wounds, that's not love. That's emotional martyrdom. Let's be clear. Yes, she may have gone through trauma. Yes, her pain is valid. But pain doesn't give anyone a license to manipulate or control you. And if you bring this up, she'll flip it. So now you're saying I'm crazy? You're abandoning me like everyone else. You're gaslighting me. No accountability. No ownership. Just an endless loop where you're always the trigger. Leaving a chronic victim isn't easy. She'll make it look like you destroyed her. She'll tell everyone how cold you were. How you switched up. How you used her and left. And maybe, just maybe, a part of you will believe it. Because her pain feels real. Because you were there for her at her lowest. Because you still feel responsible. But here's what you must understand. Her healing is not your project. Her growth is not your responsibility. Her inability to regulate her emotions is not your burden. You deserve love that doesn't make you feel like a villain every time you set a boundary. So what do? 1. Spot the pattern early. If she's always the victim in her stories, believe her. That pattern doesn't change quickly. 2. Don't confuse drama for depth. Emotion isn't the same as emotional maturity. The difference is ownership. 3. Trust your exhaustion. If you're constantly drained, constantly blamed, constantly responsible, that's not love. That's entrapment. Remember, you can love someone with a tender heart and still protect your peace. Because no matter how many times she says, "You're abandoning me," sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is leave, so she can finally learn to stand on her own. You've seen her before. Beautiful, confident, magnetic. Every angle is perfect. Every story is curated. Every selfie gets hundreds of likes. But here's what you don't see: the anxiety when her story doesn't get enough views. The emptiness between compliments. The constant need to be seen, even when she's not known. This is the validation addict. And being with her will make you feel like you're never enough. The validation addict doesn't want you. She wants how you make her feel. And the moment that feeling fades, she goes looking for it elsewhere. Now, let's be real. Everyone likes attention. Everyone likes to feel attractive. But this woman needs it. As she never really compliments you. As she flirts with others just to feel wanted. As she gets anxious if people stop noticing her. And what starts as confidence becomes a bottomless pit. You'll find yourself trying to impress someone who's always scanning the room for a better audience. She lives through perception. She wants the picture of a relationship more than the reality. She'll post your hand holding hers, but never post the argument that happened 5 minutes before. She wants the appearance of being adored, the illusion of being desired, the constant rush of digital dopamine. And you? You become a prop in her performance. Your attention isn't intimacy, it's a mirror. And the moment you stop reflecting back what she wants to see, she pulls away. Try to go deep with her, and she'll panic. Because vulnerability doesn't get likes. Depth isn't Instagrammable. And intimacy can't be filtered. She's addicted to the surface. So she avoids accountability, real conversations, emotional discomfort. But if another man messages her with heart eyes, she'll light up. Not because she likes him, but because it feeds her worth. Am I still wanted? Am I still hot? Am I still the girl everyone notices? She's not looking for a man. She's looking for a spotlight. The validation addict is a master of hot and cold. When you pull away, she floods you with attention. Long texts, sexy photos, promises of change. But once she feels secure again, she goes cold, detached, distant. Because to her, attention is a drug. And you're just the dealer. She never actually builds love. She builds a supply chain. And the moment you stop producing, she'll either punish you emotionally or replace you silently. You'll notice something else. She loves breakup theatrics. When things end, it's never quiet. A cryptic captions. A dramatic unfollowing. A new era photo shoots. A posts like, "Healing season fire sparkles broken heart." Why? Because even her grief must be witnessed. It's not sadness, it's performance. And as a man, you'll feel replaced before the breakup is even over. So how do you protect yourself? 1. Don't confuse attention-seeking with confidence. True confidence doesn't need constant validation. 2. Watch how she treats silence. If she can't go 30 minutes without checking for attention, that's not self-love. That's anxiety. 3. Don't become her supply chain. You are not her audience. You are not her mirror. You are a man who deserves real love, not rented admiration. Because once you stop performing, she'll vanish, and you'll finally be free. She's the kind of woman you can't stop thinking about. She doesn't just walk into your life. She glides in, smiling, effortless, a little dangerous. Every text feels like a riddle. Every moment with her feels cinematic. But what you don't see is the trail of chaos she leaves behind. Because this woman doesn't love. She hunts. This is the manipulative femme fatale. And dating her will feel like flying too close to the sun. At first, she's a fantasy. She makes you feel like you're the only man in the room. She mirrors your words, matches your pace. You feel seen, desired, special. But that's the trap. She's not loving you, she's studying you. Your insecurities, your fantasies, your patterns, your blind spots. She'll give you exactly what you crave, until you're hooked. And then, she'll start to twist the knife. The manipulative femme fatale uses 3 deadly tools. 1. Sexual power. She knows her allure. She controls access. She rewards and withholds to create psychological dependence. 2. Emotional whiplash. Warm, then cold. Available, then distant. Loving, then shaming. This creates what psychologists call trauma bonding. You chase her approval harder every time she pulls it away. 3. Triangulation. She constantly brings up other men, subtly. Exes. Work husbands. Male best friends. She wants you on edge. Competitive. Off balance. Not because she wants them, but because it keeps you chasing. The femme fatale doesn't want connection. She wants control. She'll test how far you're willing to go, how much you'll compromise, how much of your dignity you'll trade for her attention. And when you finally draw a line, she'll say, "You're not man enough. You've changed. Other guys would kill to be with me." She makes your masculinity the problem, so you'll come crawling back to prove it. It's not love. It's psychological chess. The most dangerous thing? She's rarely overt. She doesn't yell or scream. She whispers. She plants doubts. She gaslights softly. "I never said that. You're overreacting. You're too sensitive. Why are you so insecure?" She'll blur the line between your gut instinct and paranoia. And once you stop trusting your own reality, you become hers to control. Leaving a femme fatale doesn't feel like freedom. It feels like withdrawal. You'll second-guess yourself. Miss the highs. Ignore the lows. You'll remember the sex, the intimacy, the thrill. Not the way she slowly eroded your peace. But here's the truth. If love feels like a game, if you're always confused, if your masculinity constantly feels tested, you're not in love. You're in a power struggle. And you're losing. How do you protect yourself? 1. Watch for pattern reversals. Does she flip from hot to cold with no reason? That's control. 2. Don't confuse chemistry for compatibility. Intensity isn't intimacy. 3. Call out emotional manipulation early. If she punishes you emotionally for setting boundaries, run. Remember, the femme fatale isn't evil. She's often just unhealed, using her power to avoid vulnerability. But unless she's willing to grow, you'll drown in her chaos, while she stays dry. Choose peace over performance. Choose clarity over chaos. Choose your sanity over the seduction. Because no woman, no matter how stunning, is worth losing yourself. She's the one who feels perfect, at first. Calm, cool, collected. No drama, no chaos, no demands. She tells you she's not like other girls. Says she's just going with the flow. That she likes keeping things light. But the truth is, she's not present. She's not open. She's not there. This is the emotionally unavailable girl. And loving her will feel like texting with your heart and never getting a reply. At first, it doesn't bother you. She's mysterious, independent, unbothered. But then the questions start. Why doesn't she open up? Why won't she talk about her past? Why does she change the subject when things get emotional? And the answer is simple. She's not ready. She might want you, but not love. She likes companionship, but not intimacy. She enjoys attention, but avoids attachment. To understand her, you have to understand her wounds. She's likely been through a toxic relationship, a parental abandonment, emotional betrayal, or even internalized shame. And somewhere along the way, she decided, it's safer to keep my heart locked. It's better not to feel too much. If I don't expect love, I can't get hurt. So she became emotionally numb. Not cold. Not cruel. Just closed. Loving the emotionally unavailable woman is exhausting. You'll pour in energy. She'll smile, but not let it land. You'll open your soul. She'll nod, and change the topic. You'll ask what she's thinking. She'll say, "It's nothing. Don't worry about it." Or "I'm fine." And the worst part? You start to doubt your value. You wonder if you're too intense, too needy, too emotional. But you're not. She's just not emotionally home. She's not a bad person. She's just broken in places she hasn't healed. So she flirts but never connects. Dates but never commits. Hugs but never holds. She might even cry when you leave, but still won't ask you to stay. Because needing someone makes her feel weak. Depending on love feels like danger. So she chooses solitude over surrender. Silence over vulnerability. But here's the thing. You can't love someone into healing. And you can't wait forever for someone who won't open the door. When you finally leave, she won't chase. Not because she doesn't care, but because she doesn't know how to. And that's the heartbreak of it all. The emotionally unavailable woman might love you deeply, but can't show it in ways that matter. You'll keep reaching for a hand that never reaches back. Not because it's cruel, but because it's afraid. So here's your truth. If she avoids emotional intimacy, punishes you for being vulnerable, refuses to talk about the relationship, then she's not ready to love. And you have to love yourself enough to let go. Don't chase connection with someone still hiding from their own heart. Don't bleed for someone who's afraid to heal. Don't date someone who only half shows up. Because love isn't silent. Love doesn't hide. And love, real love, meets you where you are. If this opened your eyes, hit like, subscribe, and share it with a man who you think is going through all of these. See you in the next one.